Rice seems simple: boil, drain, serve. What could possibly go wrong? Everything. A 2025 study tested 145 rice samples from major brands. 100% contained arsenic. 1 in 4 exceeded safety limits for infant food. And number 1? It's sitting in millions of British cupboards right now. Today, I'm exposing 8 rice brands sold in every Tesco and Asda across Britain, and 3 that are actually safe. Starting at number 8, Asda long grain white rice. Asda's own brand white rice, cheapest option on the shelf. The packaging looks clean, simple, trustworthy, but that affordability hides serious problems. Supermarket own brand rice is manufactured to meet the lowest possible price point. Quality control becomes negotiable. Sourcing transparency doesn't exist. You have no idea which country this rice came from, which soil conditions, which water quality. The milling process strips away the bran and germ entirely. What remains is pure starch. Your body absorbs it almost immediately. Blood sugar spikes sharply. Insulin floods your system. This happens every single time you eat it. Over years, this pattern contributes to insulin resistance. Your pancreas works harder. Type 2 diabetes risk increases significantly. And here's what Asda won't tell you. White rice still contains arsenic, accumulated from contaminated soil and irrigation water. Without published testing results, you're gambling every time you cook it. Families buy Asda rice weekly because it's cheap and convenient. They serve it to children multiple times per week. Those children are being exposed to arsenic and blood sugar instability from an age when their bodies are still developing. Budget pricing marketed, hidden contamination and metabolic stress delivered. But at least Asda's honest about being budget. Number 7 charges more for the same problems. At number 7, Tesco Finest Basmati Rice. Tesco's premium range. Finest printed boldly on the package. Premium positioned, suggesting superior quality. You're paying more, so surely it's better. It isn't. Tesco Finest Basmati is still heavily milled and polished. The refinement removes nearly all fibre and micronutrients. What you're left with is refined starch that digests rapidly. The Finest label creates false security. Shoppers assume premium pricing means premium safety. They eat larger portions, serve it more frequently. The metabolic impact multiplies. Basmati rice grown in certain regions accumulates arsenic from soil. Tesco doesn't advertise arsenic testing protocols or publish results. You're trusting a supermarket brand to have tested properly. The polishing process that makes these grains look pristine, that's removing the outer layers that contain whatever nutrition remained. You're paying extra for aggressive processing that makes the rice look premium while stripping away anything beneficial. Think about families choosing Tesco Finest specifically because they want to feed their children quality food. They're paying significantly more and getting refined starch with no transparency about contamination testing. Premium positioning marketed, refined carbohydrate with unknown arsenic levels delivered. What happens when the most trusted name in British rice isn't trustworthy at all? Coming in at number 6, Tilda Pure Basmati Rice. Tilda is Britain's rice authority, the brand everyone recognises, sold in every major supermarket. The distinctive purple and gold packaging screams quality. When British households think good rice, they think Tilda. That trust is being exploited. Tilda Pure Basmati undergoes extensive milling and polishing. This removes the bran and germ completely. Fibre disappears. B vitamins disappear. You're left with nearly pure starch. Basmati naturally has a lower glycemic index than other rice varieties, but heavy processing significantly reduces this advantage. The rice still causes blood sugar spikes, still triggers insulin surges. Here's what makes Tilda particularly concerning. The brand's reputation means people trust it completely. They don't question it. They serve it daily. They feed it to children without hesitation because it's Tilda. Research shows basmati rice can contain measurable arsenic levels depending on growing region. Tilda sources from multiple countries. They don't clearly publish batch-specific arsenic testing results. Imagine a family eating Tilda basmati 5 times per week for years, trusting the brand implicitly, never questioning whether that daily staple might be slowly accumulating arsenic in their bodies. The premium pricing reinforces the quality assumption. Surely that extra cost funds superior sourcing. It doesn't. It funds marketing, trusted brand marketed, heavily refined rice with undisclosed contamination levels delivered. The next brand pretends to be American tradition whilst hiding processing shortcuts. At number 5, Ben's Original Long Grain Rice. You know this brand as Uncle Ben's, rebranded to Ben's Original in 2020. The orange box, the converted rice process they built their reputation on. The conversion process partially cooks rice under steam pressure before milling. Multiple processing steps, multiple opportunities for nutrient degradation. Yes, converted rice retains slightly more nutrition than standard white rice, but it's still refined, still stripped of bran and germ, still causes rapid blood sugar spikes. In October 2025, Ben's Original recalled products in the UK for foreign material contamination. Stones found in rice batches, physical contamination making it past quality control. That reveals how carefully they're monitoring production. The converted process doesn't address arsenic. The rice still absorbs contaminants from soil and water during growing. Without transparent testing and published results, long-term consumers are exposed to cumulative arsenic intake. Ben's Original markets itself as the smarter choice, but you're still eating refined carbohydrate that's been through multiple industrial processing steps, recalled for contamination, with no clear arsenic testing transparency. American heritage marketed, multiple process refined rice with recall history delivered. If mainstream brands hide these problems, what about the ones specifically marketed as healthy? At number 4, Tesco Organic Brown Rice. Organic, the word that makes everything feel safer. Tesco's organic brown rice sits on shelves priced higher, suggesting premium quality and health benefits. That assumption is dangerous. Here's what most people don't know. Organic rice often contains more arsenic than conventionally grown rice. Because organic farming prohibits synthetic pesticides, farmers flood rice paddies more heavily to control weeds naturally. Flooded conditions increase arsenic uptake dramatically. Brown rice retains its bran layer. That bran accumulates arsenic at much higher rates than the inner grain. Research shows brown rice contains 80% more arsenic than white rice on average. You're eating the part of the grain that concentrated the contamination. Tesco doesn't advertise low arsenic sourcing for their organic brown rice. No published testing results. No transparency about which region it's grown in. You're trusting organic certification to mean safe. It doesn't. Families choose organic specifically to protect their children from pesticides. They pay extra for that protection. What they're actually getting is potentially higher arsenic exposure from the bran layer they think is healthy. Think about that for a second. Parents paying premium prices for organic brown rice, serving it to children regularly, believing they're making the healthiest choice. They're potentially giving their kids the highest arsenic exposure of any rice option. Organic health positioning marketed, higher arsenic brown rice delivered, and now the ones in almost every British kitchen. At number 3, Sainsbury's Taste the Difference Basmati, Sainsbury's premium range. Taste the difference, suggesting superior quality. The packaging looks sophisticated. Mid-range supermarket pricing signals investment in quality. But what are you actually paying for? Sainsbury's Taste the Difference Basmati is still milled and polished, still refined, still stripped of bran and germ. The difference you're tasting is grain length uniformity and cooking consistency, not nutritional superiority. The premium positioning creates dangerous assumptions. People eat it more often because they trust the quality. They serve larger portions because it's the good rice. That increased consumption multiplies metabolic impact. Basmati sourcing matters enormously for arsenic levels. Sainsbury's doesn't clearly specify single source origin or published testing data. You don't know if this batch came from low arsenic regions or high arsenic ones. The reality is, supermarkets prioritise consistent supply and competitive pricing. Quality control focuses on appearance and cooking properties, not heavy metal contamination testing. Parents choosing Taste the Difference specifically because they want to feed their families. Quality food are paying premium prices for refined rice with the same arsenic concerns and blood sugar impact as budget alternatives. Premium differentiation marketed. Standard refined basmati with undisclosed testing delivered. At number 2, Morrison Savers Long Grain Rice. Morrison's absolute budget option, the cheapest rice on British supermarket shelves. For families on tight budgets, pensioners stretching income, this seems like smart shopping. It's gambling with your health. At this price point, quality control is mathematically impossible. Someone in the supply chain is cutting corners, either at sourcing, processing, storage, or testing. Probably all four. Budget rice sourcing lacks transparency completely. Which country, which region, which soil conditions. None of this information appears on packaging. You're buying mystery rice from unknown conditions. The milling is aggressive to maximize shelf life. Nutrition is stripped away entirely. What remains is pure starch that spikes blood sugar immediately. But here's the cruelest part. This deliberately targets Britain's poorest families. People with least resources get highest risk. Families on benefits get the cheapest option with zero transparency about contamination. Think about pensioners living on state pension. Families with children on universal credit. They buy Morrison's Savers Rice weekly because it's all they can afford. Over years, that cumulative exposure to potential arsenic and constant blood sugar instability compounds. Children from low-income families grow up eating the riskiest rice available, their developing bodies exposed to contaminants from an age when it impacts them most severely. Budget pricing marketed, highest risk rice with zero transparency delivered. It targets the vulnerable systematically. And now, the one you probably trust the most concerning of all, number one, Tilda whole grain basmati rice. Tilda, Britain's most trusted rice brand. Whole grain, the word that signals health and nutrition, premium positioned. This is the rice health-conscious British families choose when they want to do everything right. And it's potentially the most dangerous on this list. Here's why. Whole grain basmati retains its complete bran layer. That bran is where arsenic concentrates. Brown rice contains 80% more arsenic than white rice on average. You're deliberately eating the part of the grain that accumulated the contamination. Tilda's brand trust means people eat this regularly. Daily even, they feed it to children. They believe the whole grain label means pure health. That belief multiplies exposure. Research published in 2024 confirmed that brown rice consumption correlates with measurably higher blood arsenic levels. The bran layer you think is providing fiber is also providing heavy metal accumulation. Tilda doesn't prominently publish batch-specific arsenic testing. You can't check your specific package against published results. You're trusting brand reputation. That's not the same as verified safety data. The premium pricing creates false security. You're paying significantly more than basic white rice. Surely that investment protects you. It doesn't. You're paying for brand positioning whilst getting higher arsenic exposure from the whole grain bran. Imagine health-conscious parents specifically choosing Tilda whole grain because they research nutrition. They serve it to their children 5 times per week, believing it's the healthiest option available. Those children are getting the highest arsenic exposure of any rice type, whilst their parents believe they're making optimal health choices. You've been told whole grain is always healthier. For rice, that's not necessarily true. The bran that contains fiber also concentrates arsenic. Tilda's brand trust makes this more dangerous because nobody questions it. Whole grain health positioning marketed, highest arsenic rice variety delivered under Britain's most trusted brand. But 3 brands prove rice can be safer when sourced responsibly and tested properly. Worth trusting at number 3, Merchant Gourmet Red Rice. Red rice. Ancient grain variety with the bran intact but naturally lower arsenic uptake characteristics. Merchant Gourmet sources from the Camargue region in southern France, an area with lower arsenic soil levels. The red bran contains anthocyanins, natural antioxidants. The grain structure creates slower digestion than white rice. Blood sugar response is more gradual, less insulin stress. European Union regulations for arsenic in rice are among the strictest globally. Merchant Gourmet must comply to sell in UK. That regulatory framework provides baseline safety. The brand provides cooking, instructions that help reduce arsenic further, rinsing thoroughly, using excess water and draining. These simple steps can reduce arsenic content by 30 to 40%. Available at Waitrose, larger Tesco stores and Ocado. Premium priced, but you're paying for European sourcing and regulatory oversight. At number 2, Biona Organic Basmati Rice, certified organic by Soil Association. Single origin from carefully selected regions in India and Pakistan, where soil testing confirms lower arsenic levels. Biona publishes information about their sourcing regions and testing protocols. The organic certification ensures no synthetic pesticides were used. The single origin sourcing means consistency. You're not getting random batches from multiple countries with varying contamination levels. Biona's basmati is semi-milled, not completely polished like Tilda. This retains more natural nutrients without keeping the entire bran layer that concentrates arsenic. A middle ground providing fibre, benefit with reduced contamination risk. The brand specifically targets health-conscious consumers. They understand their customer base demands transparency. Testing results exist. Origin information exists. You can verify rather than trust blindly. Available at Amazon, Holland & Barrett, Planet Organic and independent health stores. Premium positioned, but transparent about why. And the gold standard proving rice safety is possible with proper commitment. The champion at number 1. Whole Food Earth Organic Brown Rice. Whole Food Earth sources organic brown rice from tested low arsenic regions with published testing protocols. They understand that brown rice carries higher arsenic risk and specifically address it through sourcing and transparency. The brown rice provides genuine fibre benefit, slower digestion, better blood sugar control, but the sourcing from tested regions with naturally lower soil arsenic levels reduces the contamination risk that makes most brown rice dangerous. Whole Food Earth is certified organic by Soil Association, single origin sourcing from select regions, testing data available for customer review, complete transparency about where rice comes from and what safety protocols exist. The brand provides detailed cooking instructions specifically designed to reduce arsenic further. Rinsing 6 times before cooking, using 5 parts water to 1 part rice, draining excess after cooking. This method can reduce arsenic by 50% or more. Available at Amazon, independent health stores and directly from Whole Food Earth website. Premium priced but genuinely different in sourcing and testing approach. 8 brands in every British supermarket exposing families to arsenic and blood sugar chaos. 3 proving safer rice exists when companies prioritise testing and transparency over profit margins. Go check your cupboard right now.